Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So, my name is. Welcome to Tales from the Table Studios, where you deserve your seat at the table. We are here today to play Sentai and Sensibility of Mystery and Magic, and
Magic and Mystery.
Magic and Mystery. I did have it flipped. My bad. That was on my note. That's on my end. My name is T.R. Grimm. I'm here to be the Tale Slinger and Master of Ceremonies for this fantastic game. For these fantastic people who we're going to real quick go around the horn, introduce yourself, your character, your pronouns. Mine are he, him, by the way. And go ahead and include your station also for this one, because we now actually have those. So we're going to go ahead and start today with X. You're up.
I knew it. That's why I tuned back in just in time. Hello, everybody. I'm Extel. Pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Jax LeFay. Pronouns are also he, him. And his station is the Dragoon.
Perfect.
Check me out.
Kema.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite them, Kim. I'm like all the other nerds you follow, but with a little bit of style this time. I am playing Ellis Ilima, he, they pronouns. Well, I use they, them pronouns. I am playing a Hussar in this game.
Perfect. Kay.
Hi, I'm Kay. I use she, her. I'm playing Coraline, who also uses she, her. And I am playing the Premier.
Perfect. And Lion.
That leaves me. Hi, I'm Lion. I use they, he pronouns. Today I will be playing Adam Levy, who is the Ronin, and uses he, they pronouns.
Perfect. And with that, let us hop back in. We open today on 4 Whitehall Place, more commonly known as Scotland Yard, the seat of the Metropolitan Constabulary of London, an ever-turning and processing machine of efficiency. One of the big restructurings done by Queen Dinah in order to improve the safety of her people after consolidating her claim to the throne. On any evening, it is bustling with as fine-tuned a bureaucracy as any organization working under the Crown's graces should strive to. Sitting, filing paperwork, and annotating records is a fit woman whose presence belays her stature. She reaches for her tea, Dame Olivia Dumont, Commissioner of the Constabulary since its inception almost 70 years ago. Taking a sip of her dark tea, she lets out a breath, knowing that with the Yule Ball, her officers should at least have an easy night. Lady Commissioner! Looking over at the door, she sighs and sets down her cup and starts gathering her gear. Something happened at the Yule Ball. We have reports of an attack of some sort, and a group stole the emblems from the investiture. Rising to her fully impressive height of 4'10", she pulls out a cigar and pops it into her mouth. Her silver and ruby hair streaked and tied back into a medium bun as she pulls on a heavy gray-lined blue coat. She snaps her fingers, forming a small flame on the tip of her thumb, and takes a few puffs and lights it as she stomps out. The 4 of you find yourselves at the wood again. Okay, there you are. The 4 of you find yourselves back in the woods again. Merlin sitting at a long table across from you. Hello, knights. As ancient as stone, as heavy as the stellar catching the sunning sun of this deep and primal place, his voice echoes around you. I think it's time we need to have a talk. What are your guys' reactions to having gone from mere in reality, not even a half an hour ago, being normal individuals going in, on, and about your lives, and now you're standing here in armament. Some of you not even knowing you were capable of being knights, facing Merlin. And are you still in your armament?
No. I'm just plain old Jax LeFay.
Ilima is still in their armaments, looking around and trying to figure out what exactly is happening here.
Coraline is still in her armament, and she is sort of trying to be very still and calm and look like she's on top of things.
Yeah, I think Adam is also still in their armaments. And is I have a question actually for Jax, I think. Considering there would have been some level of discussion prior based on your previous experience. Is this something that Adam would have been warned about or told might be a thing? Was this normal?
I think the Merlin showing up would have been expressed to Adam from Jax. It would have been like, Merlin's going to be there. It's going to be a whole thing. It'll be a big show, probably some other people. So, like, Merlin, yes, but everything else about this, not at all.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well,
I think,
and
oh,
so,
go ahead.
as real quick as a reminder to you, Jax, your investiture was the first one in over 200 years, and the only one since your investiture that Merlin himself showed up without sending a representative in his place. The fact that Merlin is here by himself is exceptionally weird.
Scratch that.
Oh, okay.
It's that, yeah.
Then I think still in armaments, but Adam, I think, is looking over at Jax for some level of clarity or explanation because this was not something that they were prepared for.
I look to the other two to see if they're gonna say anything. I'm gonna say something because that's who I am, but I'm looking to them to see if they do anything first either.
My gracious host, is this a common occurrence in your kingdom?
I can't say that it is. No. Jax, is this normal?
Not at all. Merlin, if I may address you as such.
Sir LaFay, you always have permission to address me as such.
What is this? This ain't right.
Well, I understand that outside one of you, and as he goes to do his explanation, a deep rumbling cavalcade of thunder that is cut by a roar causes Merlin to just pause and curse about one more time as Jax, you see Titania coming in with the full majesty of her draconic form, shaking the very roots of the trees surrounding you. You've had a number of interactions with your X number times great ancestor over the years, never for exceptionally long, but I don't know if you've ever seen Titania rattled. Titania is not one to be rattled. There's a ferocity in their actions right now, though, that belays that something is, in fact, very wrong. The force and cutting through the massive discord, as this is when you realize that behind that roar, kind of covered the sound of the collected, disparate rulers of the Fey realms from all over the kingdom. There seem to be more here than even at your investiture when it comes to the different lords of the Fey, not representatives of, but the rulers themselves. Something is very wrong, and you have this feeling that whatever it is about to boil over. Merden! Silence echoes fully in this hallowed place as Titania lands looming in her full majesty before stepping into her more off-scene form of the beautiful Queen of Avalon. Her fury is that of an inferno, the same color as her hair, wrapped in a rolling sea. Her eyes are a sharp emerald green with flecks of gold crackling energy as she gazes deeply at the four of you. I need everybody to make your choice of either an etiquette or a vigor roll. Jax, you have advantage on this roll because Titania does know your measure of a ranger from the past.
Whew, thank goodness. Thanks, Grandma. And I rolled twice.
You roll
Right?
twice. Yes, you roll twice, and hopefully one of them will be. So, and again, tell me what you rolled for, and if you got it or not.
Vigor, and I got a 7.
Oh, we lost.
Oh,
He's just BRB. Okay,
okay.
they're just BRB.
Yeah. So I rolled two. I rolled 2 7s.
Hey, so yeah, you.
No, actually, no. I rolled a 7 and a 1. Never mind.
So your honor also works for this because you've been in this situation before. You are 100% on board with your honor. So I will let you choose. Do you want this to be an honor or a vigor?
Honor, because I feel it's more respectful.
And it is. It's one of those things that her eye drags over you the least. Again, she has an understanding of who you are as an individual when it comes to needing to fulfill the needs as a knight. And it is a moment of recognition, and in this moment you realize that with her probing, it is not that she is seeking out. Okay, I'm getting a lot of feedback from you.
I'll try to fix it. I don't know what to.
You're good. You're good. I just all of a sudden, there we go. It's okay. So you realize that your grandmother is not looking to harm anybody in this, but with whatever is going on, it's one of those, if they can't withstand my gaze, they shouldn't be here. It's a test. And not one out of malice. Because Titania is many things. Malicious indeed, sometimes one of them, but usually towards those that have provoked her ire. You would have enough knowledge of that. In that case, let's move on to. Let's go to. Okay, what happens with Coraline?
Let's see. I rolled an etiquette and I rolled a 2.
Perfect, and that gets you your etiquette roll. This is not Kay's first social season, correct?
Coraline's, but no, it's not her.
Coraline, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yes, this is not Coraline's first social season, correct?
No.
Okay. So she would have at some point gone to the Ostara Ball hosted by the Court of Avalon. Not every year do Titania and Oberon show up, but they do show up every once in a while. This is probably your first time seeing her in her draconic form, which is a little bit disconcerting, but you are a properly trained, perfectly collected, you know what you're doing, and you felt the calculated gaze of many a mama over the year, and in some ways, this is not actually that much worse than some of them, being entirely honest. At least Titania has the excuse of actually being a dragon. And then Kem, what happens with Ellis?
I wanted to roll a vigor, and I rolled a 5.
Okay, so which gets you your vigor, because that's right at the very tail end of the range, but it gets it to you, and that's what's important.
Thank goodness.
Because thank goodness is correct. So yeah, I think this is one of those moments for what is something that, unlike Jax's established background and Coraline's used to, not quite this kind, but similar kinds of glances, what is it something that Ellis kind of latches on to that when you're taking the full attention of something so ancient and so powerful that's been here before the forest, before the trees, and even the stones? What does Ellis lash onto in that moment to kind of keep themselves centered.
So, as a child of the Ali'inui, known for tactics, known for careful and measured action, Ellis, in this situation where they have no information, no power, no station, no anything, all they can think back to is what they've been taught. Keep your eyes open, keep information inflowing, make sure you're ready to act if needed. And by doing so, the only thing anchoring Ellis at this moment is the fact that Ellis still has the Leomano in hand, probably white knuckle gripping it, just ready to move if needed.
Thankfully, with the gloves, they can't actually see the knuckles, and you look probably a little bit more composed thanks to the helmet than is actually going on right now. Which benefits of being an armament for that. And that leaves us with Lion. What's going on with Adam for this?
I attempted a vigor and I rolled a 6 on my d6.
Hey, you're also transformed, correct? You are in
Yeah.
your henshin? Which
Yeah.
means you didn't just get the vigor, you got your hero.
Yeah.
So, in this moment, and again, kind of similarly to Ellis, because again, you've heroed this. What is it that you kind of latch onto and present that not just shows Titania that you are meant to be wearing this? Because ironically, outside of everybody here, you're kind of the one that was meant to be wearing this.
Right.
But kind of would help not cement, but reconfirm to Titania the choice of you as a knight.
So I think that for Adam, first and foremost, because obviously they've never met, he's never been in Titania's presence before. There is that comprehension of like, well, logically, if this is where Jax's ancestry comes from, that means we have to share it somewhere, right? Like that's part of what binds us. So there has to be a good presentation here on top of already there has to be a good presentation here because I'm trying to prove my point. And so I think there is that very sort of like properly like rigidly chest pushed out unflinching stance that Adam takes. Just fully unwavered and projecting confidence.
I have a question for you, and this is a bit of a callback to the actual first episode that the Only Jax was at.
Mm-hmm.
Since this is your first time looking at Titania, do you kind of do what Jax did and look for that point of connection somewhere, seeing her for the first time?
I think so. I think mostly because Adam has been so deeply centered and focused on one part of their like heritage and their culture and their history that being in this presence and for what is really the first meaningful time experiencing any of this and knowing that there is connection somewhere, I think so. I think there would be that.
And likewise, unlike the draconic eyes, which are a very firm connection point to Jax, actually, I think that we're going to play off of those eyes for a moment. And you see her likewise, much like with Jax, as she looks really, really looks at you. You can almost tell that she can see through your helmet to you. And likewise, there's that blink to the draconic eyes, the very faint, the ghost of a smile just for a moment of recognition. And you can see it a little bit in the cheekbones, a little bit in the span and a little bit of the proportions. And, you are 100% human, but you realize that Titania in this form, the proportions of the body are very similar to how the legs to the arms, scaled for size and height, of course, but you can see those points of connection, just how the nose is sculpted in. There is definitely a connection there, and much like she did with Jax, there's this moment of not softness but acceptance as she just smiles for the briefest seconds before turning, and you can see this rage building back up in her again, and she stops and looks at Merlin, and really looks at Merlin. Again, Jax, this is not the Merlin you've ever met. This individual, even when the Witch of the Bog come down and zapped that energy into Merlin when you took your oath originally, it's like what Merlin is now is what that was supposed to do. And there's almost a mania in the Mad Wizard's eyes that even makes Titania not take a step back, but pause as she just growls out, "Explain yourself." The Frithryth, Merlin's, again, his voice, deep, soft tone, building. It demands action, something more than a group of knights to protect it. His eyes kind of blaze a little bit as his voice digs deeper than the roots of the mountains. The building weight of it shaking the very air. It is hanging by a thread pulled too thin, by lines crossed too close together. The cracks are on all sides, are showing the oaths of old. King and knight alike are strained to the point where the magics that are seeking claimants beyond simply the house of Gwyneth. The moment hangs. Even the most rambunctious of the Fae still at the voice of Merlin hanging over them. What? The voice of Prince Raiden cuts through the air as two teams of 6 knights. Jax, you would know them. Adam, you have seen them at least in training, and perhaps even trained with some of them, filling in and entering this space. The prince with his wife, Princess Fatma Hatin Sultan, as well as the Princess Morgan, the division general, Jax, even your boss in the war. From the previous war that was responsible for the strike against the enemy of the crown that brought the war to immediate close as it could have been. Their regalia, the same as their father, Prince Alexi's, a silver and forest green woven armament shifting around them, saber in hand as they walk forward, only to be grabbed and made to be given pause by their own husband, the Viscount Drumlung, the next Marquis of Queensberry. Is the meaning of this. Raiden's voice sees. These are not the knights that were selected by the husband. The soft voice and sharp eyes of Princess Fatma calms him immediately as she steps forward to lead the royal party of the House of Gwyneth. Let the wizard Merlin speak. Outside of Jax, I need everybody to roll an etiquette roll for me. Because Jax, you have this information already. Okay. All right. Okay. What does Coraline have?
We've got a 3.
They have a 3. Perfect. Cam, what does Ellis have?
I rolled another 5.
Okay, so you have your 1 mark of peril. Roll again for me real quick.
I rolled an 8.
So the good news is you're still here in the scene.
Oh.
So you're good because you want to be rolling over the amount of marks of peril that you currently have. You want to hit your number to clear your marks. If you roll under the number that you have, which you can't do with a 1, thankfully, you are then forced to leave the scene. So you are good with that. You are And this makes sense for you because there are key terms that are kind of missing for you for this. Adam, what do we have for you?
I got a 3.
3? Perfect. So
Barely.
for Kim, what Ellis picks up for this is even within their limited time in the capital, what you see here is kind of indeed confirming the rumors that that the individual with the temperament and mind to rule this country is the future queen consort and not the prince himself. Prince Raiden's outburst seems to come from a point of confusion and an upset plan more than anything else, not the temperament one wants from the heir to the crown and the one about to, because of the age of the current queen, likely very shortly, at some point, to take over. You see that Princess Fatma, your first time probably ever actually seeing her in person, is observing. She's quiet. Much like you, she's observing, gathering information, allowing those around her to also gather their own information through their own specialty. And it is this when you also see that the knights are not taking their cue from Raiden. They're taking their cue from her. Now then, for Jax, for Coraline, for Adam, you notice that there's actually a little bit more to it than that. What you're seeing isn't a usurpation. It is a couple in power playing to their strengths. Jax, as you know this is part of why Radon and Fatima work so well together, is they do very, very much cover each other's strengths and weaknesses in a partnership. And you see that Fatma is more suited to the general eye for the diplomats as the courts. While Raiden seems to have issues holding back his feelings from his face. It's not that she's taking the position of power in this dynamic. It is freely being a subtle exchange by two very intelligent people who know the best way to get what they both believe is what is needed to be done, working off of each other. Merlin nods his head in thanks to the princess consort. I've already stated that the Frithris is on the edge of breaking. So, to buy time, the applicants of investiture, they weren't what I needed. So I enacted the foundations of the Frithris to create a new set of knights. Once they can keep the magic together long enough to do what needs to be done, he looks at the four of you. Well, keeping a third to make a new whole is poetic in its own way. This is not how the Frithris works. One cannot. King Nwadwa, who is never seen from the deep forests of Ireland, stands only to be cut off by Merlin. You cannot. None of you can. But I am the living will of the Frithris. It was I, on the words of Sulis, fragment of Minerva, that took on this burden. You looking down at his hands, you can see that they seem to be almost a patchwork of in and out of existence. Whatever he did is taxing both himself and the Frithith. To remind it. To remind it again, to set right what was broken. I have selected those best suited, but this is only a part of the problem. I've changed one half of the oath. It is, and in many ways, it will be up to my knights to decide on the one to swear the new monarch's oath will be. Snapping his fingers, a dozen banners, all bearing different crests of different individuals, fall from the trees. You see the two for Ridden, Morgan, several other relatives of the crown. There's one you see, Jax. There's a crest that should not exist still. The traitorous 18, a coalition of 18 dukes of the realm that tried to make a claim on the throne from Dana. You were there, Jax, when all 18 of those names and crests were struck from every possible record. That crest should not exist. But there it is. The banners all rest in different changing sizes. The smallest on a black and purple diagonal striped banner, two dragons, one from the sea, one from the air, intercircling in a yin yang, is the smallest. The two largest are Prince Raiden's, who is the largest, followed by a different crest. One you all saw less than an hour ago, even though it feels like an eternity ago at this point. The supporting black unicorn and wyvern, the dark mirror of Prince Raiden's own crest, Paradox, the king of the never was. These banners represent what the Frithis sees as the next king. The one who will re-swear an oath and rebrand the Frithith. My power stands until that is done, and then with this binding of a new Frithith, I will rest. And there is silence as you see that the royal entourage finally turns and looks at the four of you. Jax! You just hear Morgan sigh from within their armament. Why am I not surprised?
I can't say that excitement doesn't find me one way or another. I do.
And you see Morgan's husband again coming up and patting them on the shoulder. Darling, it's okay. It's okay. And it is just one of those moments as you are now standing here, the rest of you realizing outside of Adam that it's not that you're nobodies. You are the daughter of a prominent house and a foreign dignitary. You're not nobodies. But to be caught in this kind of position and to be revealed as a knight not ordained by the crown would probably bring many questions and potentially dangers. And from what we can tell, you see Fatima kind of making her way over towards the lot of you. She reaches very daintily her hand out to you, Jax.
I take it.
General LaFay, always a pleasure. I am so happy to see you here. If this was to happen, I am happy that someone with your history of service is going to be here to offer whatever assistance you can. As she looks over at the three masked rangers, three masked knights, I will not ask you to remove your armaments. I just simply hope that if you do need any assistance, do know that the crown will be here to assist you. And that's when Merlin, kind of standing where he says, unfortunately, my knights cannot be interfered with by any prospective members, any prospective candidates. They are not agents of your crown. They are agents of the Frithith. They are agents of the contracts that bind our lands in the tenuous peace that it will remain to be. And as the four of you look around, you see that this peace is strained at the moment. The private guards of these different fae have all kind of come out of the woodworks in response to these 12 other knights besides the four of you. My knights are, Merlin continues, my knights are arbiters. They are chosen and selected because of the souls of magic that they have within them to weed out a proper king for the throne. He motions up behind
Question.
him. Yes.
Do I know that with the I see it?
You see it.
It's I know, right?
You
I'm
know.
pretty sure I know.
You
So-
know.
When Merlin says that, I'll just go. I'll let go of Fatima's hand, gently, of course, and turn and say, "And I have a question, my dear Merlin, if I may interrupt you for a moment there. Why?"
If the magic chooses, and if at the end of it all, you are the emergency option, as it were.
There is a
Surely there's some.
audible, almost scoff.
Well, so Adam, you would recognize the purple and black diagonal flat banner as Jax's personal crest.
I can't see a way that I am both the arbiter and the contestant, so to speak.
Well, if you would, no offense meant to you, Jax LaFay, Jax walk 'em down LaFay.
They do
Merlin
call me
says.
that.
Merlin says with a chuckle. Not saying that you are small, but if you notice the size of your banner, if yours is to grow and others is to shrink, we find ourselves with a much deeper problem than a simple vying for the throne.
Then why was there an attack then? If this is such a political thing,
Because
why did they attack us? And I point to the crest of the of the person who was just like in the ball.
Because the Frithith likes action. I don't control what it deems as an obligation. I don't decide. I am simply the living touchstone holding it together at the seams that are coming apart that it is.
Action at the cost of others, I see.
Action. For good or ill, to act is sometimes... Again, I'm not the one that decides. I am simply the embodiment of it at this point.
Goodwill this time. Less old.
I'm pulling more from the Frithith than I should, but the damage that was done to the bonds and to the O's that held it together were to the point where I don't have another option. And again, you see that through as he moves, as his sleeves shift and pull up on his long, cleaner than you remember them being robes, you see that patchwork of existence and non-existence travels up his arms. He is currently... Not only is Merlin much, much older than any human has any right to be, he seems to be not entirely here physically as opposed to mentally at this point. Almost as if he was trading one for the other.
Well, I suppose we have no choice in the matter.
You see one of the Fey Lords in the backlit arise again, only to be sat back down with a cutting glance from Titania. She herself convinced of Merlin's words at this point, as the royal court kind of pulls itself over to the side, and Merlin looks at the four of you. I'll be sending you back. You will be far enough away from the place I took you from where you should be able to make it to your abode safely.
Thank you kindly.
I will let you know when it is time for
Action?
action. Merlin says with a nod. And
Action is my middle name.
I thought it was La, he says as he makes the motion with his hand, as you kind of hear, as you guys are leaving, the cacophony of that kind of being the dropping of the flag for the delegates, rulers, and the royal family to now kind of just be verbally tearing into each other about figuring out what the fuck is actually going on without you guys being present. And you are many, many miles away from the Caraway house. You are kind of all dropped, and there is you can hear commotion even now coming from that direction. You know, there are you see carriages still leaving and being ran through on running their way home, and you see individuals kind of stopping and no one getting a good enough look in the darkness that you guys were dropped off in to figure out who you guys are. But you do see someone just catch just a moment looking at the four of you before they're dragged away by the crowd again.
Well, I'm just gonna say that. Well, this all seems terrible.
There's a moment before Adam, I think, drops the armament and goes, "What do you mean, Your Majesty? You're not excited at the premise?"
I mean, I could make some pretty nice changes around here. Weekdays off, Sundays is for fucking, but that doesn't matter neither here nor there.
You can almost hear the eye roll.
Oh, is it only Sundays now? Have you scaled back?
Yes. I'm getting too old for it. Sometimes I just like to sit there.
Ilima's armament drops, and you can hear the sound of the wooden leomano hitting the pavement as they drop to a knee and like catch their breath. They'd been essentially holding their breath this whole time, and now scrambling to get themselves, nice and proper. After taking a few breaths, stands up, reaches into their coat and brings out a small little notepad and begins writing down furiously, followed by them storing it back and grabbing the leomano from the ground.
Walking away from there with just a little bit out of breath when my grandmother stares at somebody. You got off pretty good, I'd say.
Coraline sighs and drops the armament.
There's a moment where I think as you drop the armament, where there's that like moment of it clicking for Adam. Because I don't think it did up until this moment. He doesn't say anything, but there is a moment of I see.
Yeah, and in that moment, there's just like that little tiny glaring of daggers at you.
Didn't even do nothing.
That's in some hostility. Let's talk about that over a drink, shall we? Walk off to the nearest bar, which I'm sure I know where it is.
I think Jax LaFay has an innate understanding of the nearest source of either purchasable or open to him alcohol at any given time. It's an innate ability. It's
booze sense for
correct.
like 500 miles.
Correct. The entirety of the English island is
in my domain. Yeah,
correct.
This is my hoard. But I do give I give probably closest to Adam. So I'll give Adam like one of those like probably a little too hard, not meaning to be, but just kind of like pats on the shoulders, like, come on, we'll drink about it.
Little stressed. Little stressed.
Adam's immediate reaction to that is this like almost non-existent bow. My king.
You know, you don't have to. You don't have to at all. In fact,
Oh, I'm aware.
So I have a question for Coraline.
Yes.
You went to the ball with your brother,
Yep.
who has lost track of you,
Uh huh.
who is probably freaking the fuck out right now, going, "Oh my god, my sister is dead. I've killed my sister." You can see this playing out in your head, right?
100%.
Are you going to the bar, or are you going to go find your poor dear brother?
Well, I'm gonna go find my brother because one, I don't have an escort.
So right.
Mhm.
You're
I'm
so
not
right.
going to the bar without an escort
With
in my ball gown.
with 3 strange men. With
Excuse me, 2 well-known fuckers
and their house guest.
and their house guests. Oh boy!
I fear there might be some guilt of association for Ellis right now.
The rumors that would spread.
The rumor's correct. Do you give them time to walk ahead to create a separation before you walk the opposite direction, or are you just going?
I'll have to meet you gentlemen at some other point. My brother will be looking for me, and I will not exactly have an excuse if I'm missing for hours and hours.
Indeed. Though it may be a bit amusing to imagine him running around in panic at this moment.
Of course you would think so.
Okay.
Send my best.
Never.
Between Adam and Coraline, should we not accompany Miss or Madame Emberton back? Is this not a thing that we do here?
Let's see. Would you like us to accompany you?
Hold on. That's actually a good point.
Your company would be delightful. Unfortunately, I feel that if I return with the 3 of you, it would cause something of a scene. Much better that I find my brother on my own. Thank you.
Understood.
Trust me, Ellis. The things that she can do now, she don't need no escort.
My apologies.
It'd be great. You learn all about it.
Thank you for the thought.
Do you remember how I had mentioned that the game is played out here?
Yes.
Expectations abound and assumptions beyond what people would say.
Yes, and Mr. Levy doesn't have the most sterling of reputations.
God forbid it be tarnished more.
Well, when you stand next to the blacksmith, excuse me, have a lovely night. We will have to discuss another time.
You too. I will send a messenger for you, if I may.
That would be much appreciated.
Have a good evening, and tell your brother I said hello.
Gladly.
Well, also good evening, because I guess I said hello earlier.
So we're going to go ahead, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to follow Coraline back to the party, finding her brother and all of that, and then we'll go for the 3 of you for the bar. Okay?
I think as Coraline is walking off, just before you're out of earshot, you can hear Adam going, presumably to Jax, but probably to both. Am I the blacksmith?
That's neither here nor there.
I'm unfamiliar with the saying.
You learn a lot of things.
So as you kind of you realize you're kind of going against the crowd in this moment. You do see a couple of people. You actually see. Excuse me. You actually see that Benedict is actually being useful and helpful. He is actually helping to guide and make sure people are staying together as a group. So you actually see Benedict before you see Daniel.
Benedict.
Coraline, there you are. Daniel's been frantic looking for you.
Have you-
Stay with me. He's been making rounds back about every 10 or 15 minutes. Just stay with me.
I'm glad you're well.
I am glad you are well. And you see that as someone goes to trip, he actually catches them, and you see that it is probably a young girl. This is probably her first season out. And he pulls her up. She's very charming. He does all the stuff, and you see, for a moment, you see your brother as he was once. And he motions her along, and he seems to be working with the constabulary to a certain degree. Even without the morpher, your brother he did pass knight's training. Your brother is good enough to be doing this, even for all of the probably just nerves and overinflated ego that led into how bad he was. You're seeing that something about tonight kind of, you don't know if it popped his ego or just pumped it down a little bit.
For just a moment, there's this sort of softening as she kind of gets the wind taken out of her sails for having taken it from him. Because this was like, she kind of had, like, on the way there, she was kind of having that little giddy moment where it was like, yeah, take that. And now she's kind of like, oh, well, all right, fine.
But no, are you okay? What happened? Did you just get lost? Did you just get caught up in the crowd?
Oh, yes, as everyone was fleeing, I just seemed to have got turned around.
Well, you're with me now. Daniel will be back soon. The two of you can go home. I have a duty as still a sworn knight to help make sure this gets resolved properly. I'm probably going to have. Please tell mother and father that I will be late getting home tonight. I have likely some investigation, some obligation to attend to before it goes. Have you seen Adam, by the way?
No, I can't say that I have.
Well, he's the only one of us that just wasn't there. You see, he kind of points over, and you see Hyacinth LaFoe, who is kind of like he's doing helping and making sure people are being guided. It's one of those things where, with what Merlin said, you could see, with how they're acting in this moment, why both of them would have been chosen to be knights.
Perhaps he's helping elsewhere.
Knowing Adam, he most likely is. When we get home tonight, you will be getting home before I do. If you're awake, would you mind meeting me in the parlor for a drink? I think I believe I have some sour grapes to eat for how I've been acting the past year or so.
Okay. I will be there then.
And that's when you see.
Are you well?
We'll talk about that tonight.
She's kind of like looking, like checking for like a bump on the head or something.
There's no bump on the head. You see he's banged up, and looking back on it, because of the sheer number of shadlings that there were other people who did fight. You do see that the cuts on his jacket do match what the shadlings' weapons were doing. You can tell that he was involved, at least in some way, with all of this. I'm physically fine. I will... Sister! You hear as Daniel kind of hits the corner, sees you. Oh.
Daniel!
Where did you go?
I got swept up and turned around, and I couldn't find my way back.
Okay, let's get you home. Let's get you home. As he kind of leads away, you see that there's this almost sorrowful look that Daniel has watching as, even though you're not quite sure where, but you think that there might have been other emblems or other things being used for transformation, as both Hyacinth and your brother do their own transformation into a knightly form. Your brother's very much almost a bit of even with everything on it, it's hard to not kind of in some way imagine Don Quixote. Just a little bit with your brother. Not in a negative way at this point, but in the over exaggeration of one's abilities, not out of inherently malice, but there is an over exaggeration of one's own abilities there. And Hyacinth's in a much more you can tell that, especially if Adam's is how it was supposed to be, there's a bit of a triangle of one focused more on magic, one focused more on defense, and one focused more on the ability to be the pressure of attack between what that trio was supposed to be. And as you are kind of pulled, as you and Daniel walk away, you see Daniel pull you over to where your house's carriage was waiting over by where Benedict was. As you kind of are loaded, he kind of helps you and then calls himself, taps the carriage, and you guys pull off. It starts to snow again, right as you guys are pulling away. And for our merry little band of those seeking alcohol and refreshment, where are we? So there are a couple of places within bounds you can go. How much money are we looking to spend? Not that Jack's Lafay has minimal coffers by any means.
You can put on my tab. I will take them to a... Actually, for this moment, well, this is for Dom, you know this is, in any occasion, Jack should always pick the fanciest place. But I think for this, you can tell that even though he's got this, he always has this like personality outwardly, but this is weighing on him heavily as he just finds the nearest one, whether it's fancy or not, and just it's like, yeah, we're gonna drink here tonight.
And as you walk in, the beginnings of what will become blues and jazz is playing from one of the back corners. Just slowly strumming out in the background as you lead them up to the bar, and you hear Jack's Lafay.
Who's calling my name?
So
I promise I don't owe you money.
No, you don't owe me money. What you
Good.
see happen is Eric Burnham was once a coachman. And you have found your way to somehow you have found your way to what is apparently now his bar.
You still alive? It's been 80 years, ain't it?
Oh, you're not the only one with a little bit of blood of the flame flowing around through your system. So it's a bit rude of you to make assumptions.
Listen, most people I've met have not. The old team, I'm not sure what they're up to nowadays.
No, but no. Still not my type, he says as he taps the table, as he pulls out a couple of glasses. What are we drinking, though?
Give me a couple of whiskeys neat for myself, whatever they have, and also you can put it on. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it.
I know you have. I know you're good for it. He says as he puts 3 glasses up, runs 3 neats, lines them up in front of you, looks over at Adam. What are you drinking, sir?
You can surprise me with any fortified wines you have on hand.
Well, we don't have the fancy ones that you'd find uptown, but he says as he reaches down, except for this, and if Jax is paying, he says as he pulls out an 1832 port.
That was a good end.
Cuts the top in proper fashion. Lights, does the light check on it. You're seeing him do all the proper process. A bar like this probably shouldn't have a bottle of this port. You're not going to ask questions, though.
No.
As he pours, and it smells of brown sugar and plums, stone fruit, and just the faintest hint of baking spices. As he pours it, rolls it over the flame like a proper port, and sets it in front of you. And for you, sir.
I'll abstain from drink tonight as I look at the other 2 who have ordered drinks. I have much reason to keep my thoughts clear, Sir LaFay and Sir Levy. I would like to discuss a few things with you 2 if there is time.
You see,
Yeah, we will, but over drinks.
You do see the bartender reach down, and you see him. You're not quite sure what he put. He slides in front of you. I swear to you, no alcohol. It is a pale white liquid. You can tell that it smells of citrus, and because we're right in the middle of the pineapple craze in England right now, in the time period for this, so it is a lemon and ginger pineapple drink.
Very well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Do you got some place where we can?
The back corner is always yours.
Thank you. I will take all 3 glasses in one hand.
I'm skilled at
this.
Do you down one on the way back to the corner to the seat?
Slammed. Yeah.
As they're heading back there, there's a moment where I think Adam will look over at Ellis and go, I recognize that perhaps we are a bit easier on this than you might otherwise expect, but for myself at least, while the experience was not quite what was expected, the result of the evening was not entirely unexpected, and for Jax, well, I'm certain my cousin is used to those.
Carlisle would have liked you. I look at Ellis. Actually, maybe not, because the drinking was a big thing, although that was due to depression, but it doesn't matter.
Which one was Carlisle again, cousin?
Maybe magenta? Cyan. I think it was cyan. It's been 80 years. You gotta give me some grace on this one.
Of course.
But I'm pretty sure it was cyan. Had to be. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Anyway.
No, I won't lie. The fact that you're able to maintain this level of composure for what has just happened is a little unnerving.
Cerulean. That's what it was. No, it's well, put in perspective. The first time this happened to me, I don't know if you know about it. one of my cousins had just been murdered 6 weeks prior, and a similar thing happened there. Titania, the king, the queen, although there weren't as many of the rulers as there were last time from the Fae, but it was mostly just Titania. Oberon was there. Nice. Let's see. But a similar vein happened. I mean, we were the first ones to be knighted, so to speak, in 200 years. And, well, this is the first group since then. So, congrats. You made history.
Adam, with the glass on the table, sort of rests their hand at the bottom of the stem and is gently, like, swirling the glass a bit and goes, and I simply learned it from watching him. But, like, Ellis, I'm sure being as perceptive as they are, it's very clear that there's a lot more going on behind the obvious mask of cool, calm attitude here.
So those beings, they were your connection to your kingdom's magic, your kingdom's history.
Yeah, things stem from other places, gods and monsters and magical beings from all over the place. Titania is my ancestor, the great, a few more times great grandmother.
My kingdom
And-
had similar ties.
You see, sometimes it runs in the family. God, honestly, sometimes I lose track of all the cousins I have because I have cousins over there, like Robin and Titania is my grandmother. I say grandmother for ease rather than saying great 15 times. You know what I mean? But, and then some of the princes and princesses, not all of them because some of them are by marriage, but I guess by marriage they're my cousins too, like Ridden. Sometimes I forget how to pronounce that boy's name. I swear they spell it like Riding, but it's said differently. But anyway, was it Riding? Is it Riding? The alcohol's taking a toll on me probably tonight, but it's fine.
Interesting development. See, my kingdom, our tied to magic are mostly guardian beasts for the most part, and yet they have slumbered for quite some time. It's interesting to meet someone who has direct ties.
Direct is a strong word, although apt, I fear.
Duly noted.
Titania is a interesting one. Kind, but terrifying.
Now, if you don't mind, these sigils, I would like to know, how is it that I can access your, well, whatever magic your kingdom has for their warriors?
I mean, Adam, if you want to answer that,
Oh,
I can answer it. But
I was simply remarking that I thought it was a very good question, actually.
well, the Frither chooses who it chooses. And no ties or connections matter, as far as I understand.
So I am not going to try to butcher speaking in Hawaiian because it would be atrocious. But you do hear something in the back of your mind to questions will be answered when you walk between the realms tonight.
Okay.
It's just very faint, just for a moment. And it's like the voice of something. It is what you imagine when your father described his interactions with the mole. It is similar. Not quite the same, but similar to that.
After that voice, I regain some composure, have a sip of the drink, and sort of relax my questions for a bit.
It's really all about what's in your heart, for real. You know what I mean? It's like your intent, your...
Noted.
Anyway, although it seems like Merlin did a quick turnaround on us and just made the first do. I guess not make, but did something out of the ordinary with it. A new ruler.
This has been a very interesting night indeed. I do feel that you two have more to discuss, things that I probably would not understand. And with that, I'd like to take a walk. I'll make my leave, and I'll meet you back at the estate. Thank you very much. And I pick up and I leave.
There is unless there is like if there is a physical like shift away, then obviously they won't. But Adam, as you get up, will like lean their glass towards yours to just sort of like cheers against it as you walk, as you go to leave.
There's a clink, and then following, leaving.
You'll have to understand it one way, one day, or another, whether or not you want to in this.
Couldn't ask for a better inside look.
Take the nap. Perhaps we should also retire. Unless you have questions.
Oh, cousin, I have so many questions.
And I think we're going to go ahead and pull back from that so many questions. The camera just lingering for a moment on the very soft electric light, almost audible humming of it, fuzzing out the image as we're pulling away as the question started of reasonable volume, and then we muffle out as I think we're getting ready to take our break.
Yeah, we're going to take about 15 minutes, go grab some water, use the bathroom, grab a snack, stretch our legs, do the things that we can't do while we're here, but we'll be back in just about 15 minutes. You should be too, because you're not going to want to miss the next part of all this. Till then, see you soon.
Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a great break. We did. We had to unfortunately cut a conversation short about Digimon, which is always a fantastic thing we all love here. So, Coraline Emberton,
Yes.
is there any conversation? There we go. Is there any conversation you have with Daniel? He pesters you for a moment about what happened, how did you get so separated. He quickly calms down after you kind of reiterate the same story 2 or 3 times to him. Once he kind of hits that point, is there anything you want to talk to him in private about before you make it back to your guys' abode?
I don't think so. No.
So you guys make your way back to Hearthrow House, the inn capital residency of the Emberton family, and properly filling in for that highest point of a middle tier that the Emberton family is very respectable. If respectful without being gauche is, I think, the aesthetic your mother strives for around the house.
Gotta walk that line.
Gotta walk that line, because your family does have more money than some of the families technically above your station, due to the fact that most of the capital eats food grown off of your guys' farms. You make a fair amount of money off of that. Uh, I think that it's one of those things where you guys are let in, the staff lets you in. I'm assuming you have a personal maid.
Yeah.
Perfect. Do you have a name for her?
We can call her Lydia.
Lydia. So Lydia comes in. Miss, I heard such things happened at the. She kind of follows you up to your, because I'm assuming you're getting out of the ball gown into appropriate lounging clothes for. She helps you under your button as she's talking to you. Are you okay? I heard there was such a travesty that happened.
Oh, Lydia, thank you for worrying about me. Really, I'm fine. It was invigorating more than terrifying.
Question for you: when you guys morphed back, you still have your morpher.
Oh, yes.
Which are called emblems in this instance. So the masculine folk have it easy, as they have these things called pockets.
Hmm.
Where did you stick yours?
The only pocket ladies have at that point, unfortunately, is
Valid.
going right in here.
Valid. So you go and I'm assuming there's a bit of jostling around to make sure Lydia does not see the morpher through all this process. To be fair, you would actually have had a bag with an opening underneath one of your petticoats that would work to hold items as such. It's not a very large bag, but it would be appropriate size for you to hide this into also. It wouldn't have been easier for you to access in the moment, hence where it was for now.
Going in the cleavage pocket.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, it takes you guys. You are able to, probably not the first time you've smuggled something into the house after a party.
Probably not, no.
So yeah, you not that you're an old hand at it, but you do know how to make sure that it doesn't get caught on you. You get into a dressing gown, just a regular dressing gown for around the house. Would you like your hair up in rollers, miss?
I'm so sorry, one more time?
Would you like your hair up in rollers, miss?
Not just yet. I think it's curly enough on its own. But, I have a meeting with my brother a little bit, and I don't think I'd like to have it in curlers.
Understandable. In that case, if you need anything, please don't hesitate to call. I will be over in my chambers doing a little bit of mending.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your help, Lydia.
As always, she does a proper little curtsy, moves off to her quarters. I think that part of what your family does is, and this is very intentional, is your staff is very well paid.
That's good. Yes.
It is because I think again it goes back to one of those things where very good staff is not cheap.
Nope.
You guys have the money for it, and you're kind of paying the difference from serving a more noble family, what could be considered noble family. So Lydia is very good at her job, as is most of your staff. Are you staying in your chambers, or are you going to be going ahead and heading down to
I'm
the
gonna
parlor?
head down and wait there.
Okay. So you're waiting over in the family parlor. As it is winter, of course, the fireplace is 100% lit and going already. It is banked, so it's nice and warm, but it's not giving off a lot of light. Do you open up the flue a little bit more, get the air going, put another log on, get.
Yeah, she'll toss another log on the fire. And she'll probably pour herself a drink because this is weird.
This is very weird, and so you go to pour yourself a port, and Daniel knocks on the parlor door. One for me too.
Daniel.
Yeah, Benedict's acting weird.
Yes, I've noticed. I was concerned he took a blow to the head, but I don't see any lumps or blood, so
He had a cut on his arm, but that's bandaged properly. And
poison then, definitely poison.
I,
And she pours another drink.
that's my assumption. He says with a laugh, but it's odd. Did you pay attention to him when everything happened?
Oh no, I was a bit busy.
He froze
Oh,
and then took a step back as Adam took a step forward. As Mr. Levy took a step forward, is what he would say.
huh. That's. I can't say it doesn't entirely scan, but I'm a little bit surprised.
But then he acted. It's easy to miss that part with those new nights that happened, but he did act, and far be it from me to ever fault anybody for, in a moment of violence, needing a breath before acting on it. I'm worried about him.
I'm a bit worried too. This is an unusual request, an unusual behavior, but you know as well as I do that Benedict has more than enough potential to do good things.
He does. We just need to get Mama and Father from ruining.
So I won't complain if this is him learning to try.
I won't either. I'm worried about him judging himself on what he is perceiving as his weakest moment.
Honestly, that might be a bit healthy for him.
Agreed, unless it hits a point of obsession.
True.
And I think that he takes his port for a moment. I will speak more on some of my feelings when Benedict, and he, as he's about to say, when Benedict shows up, you do hear the door open. Or I will be doing it momentarily. Benedict walks in, shaking the snow off of his greatcoat. On the outside, as he steps in, takes it off. One of the servants comes back, grabs it from him. He thanks them, makes his way towards the parlor. You're both here. Good. Port. He says as he walks over and pours himself a glass, downs it, and then pours himself a second glass. Um, you both must be very embarrassed of me at the moment. I'm not gonna lie, I'm embarrassed of myself.
From what Daniel has spoken of your actions tonight, I don't see reason to. I've been embarrassed of you very often, but now is not that moment.
In a moment when action was needed, all of my boasting for all of my claims, I was proven craven. He says as he takes another, not downing, but very large sip of his port. I Daniel kind of motions to speak. He's like, I do have enough self awareness to realize the ass that I've been these past, if I'm being honest, years. The only to when it came time to prove myself correct in my own fears of who I am as a person, I find myself lacking in a way most unbecoming of to be of the future Count Emberton. I for all of the phrases and all of the boasts that I've put out in the world to in this moment prove otherwise is it quite shows that he finishes it off. Well, all I can say is that um, the sour grapes are quite indeed mine right now, and I owe both of you quite an apology for being an ass.
Well, I can't argue with that, and the apology is accepted.
You see Daniel stand up. Well, I have an order from General LaFay, unfortunately, that I do have to finish out real quick. So he walks over and very lightly punches his brother on the shoulder. Because he was ordered by one General LaFay to punch. The order was in fact confirmed to punch Benedict, and it's a very light on the shoulder. You're many things, brother. What I saw tonight was not a coward. It was a man who had to steel himself before acting, and I would be a liar to say in the face of danger I was not forced to do the same on many occasions, as anyone who's entered into combat more than once would agree with. It is not the first moment that decides your bravery, it's how you act after that moment. And Dick nods his head and shoots back the last of his cup. Well, if anything, he just chuckles. Either of you, I think, would have made much better nights than I would have tonight. And you notice,
Roy chokes slightly.
yeah, you also notice that there's a pained look on Daniel's face when that was said. And Benedict, for once actually paying attention to his siblings, catches it and then looks over to you, Coraline, to see if you caught it.
She does, and she gives Benedict a puzzled look.
Brother, what? During the war, I had a choice that I had to make. I pulled too much magic. I saved my fellow soldiers, but I lost my ability to adorn my armament through that. You see him, and you would both know your brother Daniel is actually quite skilled with fire magic, especially, and like he would be able to, with just using his hand, take the fire in the room and have it dance around him, almost like a phoenix, much like how it expresses for your machina and your symbology, um, Coraline. And you see him kind of really, really focus on the fire, and the most it does is it rises off the log just for a moment before wavering and falling back down.
Oh, Daniel.
Brother, why didn't you? Because I don't want the pity of it. I saved good soldiers. I protected people who were important to me. And the cost we pay to do the good that needs to be done, it's not something that an Emberton shirks from. And you can see that there is deep brokenness in Daniel right now, even as he says that, because he's saying the words. And if you couldn't see his face, there's the sound of conviction. But it's hollow, especially looking him in the eyes. It's a void. Brother, I had no idea. I didn't want you to. I didn't want either of you to. I still am employed by the military. I am still attached as an attaché to General LeFay's office. I work as an aide there now and will be likely taking the courses in order to become an aide-de-camp, which will be useful, if not what the intended path of glory for the family was, but it will be okay. And as he talks, you can kind of see, Coraline, you see your father on the stair. You can tell he's probably heard most of this conversation. And you see this look of just, it's not hatred, it's not disgust, but there's almost you can see him mentally checking Daniel off of, or scratching Daniel mentally off of a list of some sort. He catches your eye, smiles very warmly at you, nods his head, and walks back upstairs.
She gives him this just absolutely withering look.
Like most fathers, he is unfortunately immune to the withering glares of his daughter.
Sure. Yeah. That's what she does.
And yeah, that is. I think that this is the first time in a while that the Emberton siblings truly reconnect.
Absolutely. I think this is the first time the three of them, since they were like small children, have kind of been in the same room on the same page.
And it's, as you're talking to, and kind of as that talking through happens, you realize just how much of the face Benedict was presenting to the world really was a construct of your parents. The way he's talking about subjects outside of the ear of your father, he has a bit of a smarter head than he's been letting on these past couple of years. He's not an idiot. His attitude made him seem as such, and his will and his want to make sure to keep in your father's good graces affected and affected his speech and some of his decision making. But you can tell that he's at least starting to become his own person underneath all of it.
The trust isn't there yet, but it's a nice start.
Correct. It's enough for the chance for more.
Exactly.
And I think that that's where we're going to be pulling away from you, and then Kemma for Ellis. Is there any particular place Ellis is walking to in this cold and snowy, wet, but the wrong kind of wet place?
At this point, Ellis is just walking through the streets, sort of avoiding the glances of anyone passing by, trying to replay the scene that has happened in their head, almost talking to themselves. This kingdom has separate powers, it seems. There's multiple factions, and you, Ellis, have fallen in the midst of it. What did they mean that we answer not to the crown and an arbiter? It seems that twice we've been made a judge. You have a mission, you have a goal. Refocus your efforts. Let's talk to someone. And I walk by and look for the next person, someone who's just going about their day or something of that sort.
At this point, it would be a little bit dark out. You actually do see down one of the nearby streets there is a burning barrel with a couple of look like they're probably off-duty factory workers warming their hands, passing around some sort of bottle of probably not very expensive alcohol, kind of the opposite of what you just left. The same thing in an opposite way. It's a group of like-minded men and women talking. There's two men and two women as they're just sitting talking to each other, passing around this bottle.
You keep all analysis fair, no judgment, from the first to the last. Ellis then sort of takes the sash that they're wearing and takes it off to sort of lower their own stature and their own look. Stows away the, I forgot, emblem.
Yep.
Puts away the emblem and walks up to the people standing around the barrel.
Hello there. You see the one of the people kind of rubbing their hands. You see that they have this almost the color of it's almost the color of a palm tree. This very somewhere between a brown and a gray. Just looking, cold night for a walk, sir. Do you care to warm yourself by our fire for a bit?
I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Make room.
I'm not from around here, and I'm just trying to get a sense of this kingdom and its people.
Well, depends on who you talk to. They point up towards where the larger, almost palatial residences and the land of silks and expensive imported alcohols of means. Now, for those over there, inherited money and inherited easy labor and inherited titles of inherited value that to some of them, not all of them, there's good and ill in every crowd, but it seems more recently there's more and more in the ill up there.
So you're not exactly the greatest of supporters of all of that going up there. I can see that and I can understand that. Tell me more about your woes.
Well, it's bloody cold. First things first. We all work at the McDermott factory, and they are not always the best about making sure the braziers and heaters are up to as hot as the crown says they should be. That's not That's not the queen's fault, mind. That's not the queen's fault. It's she's old, and her and her family can only be in so many places. Wherever they go, things tend to improve for a time, but there's only so many of them, and there's many more greedy men out to make a dollar in this world.
I see. I apologize, McDermott, was it?
Yeah, the McDermott, and they actually point over, and you see across the river, there's actually a sign that says McDermott Steelworks.
Noted.
And what you can actually see, even more than that, is that underneath McDermott it says a subsidy of Malgrove Steel Enterprises.
Alice takes out the notebook and writes down a couple of notes and puts
So
it away.
you would also even from Hawaii, you would know that the Malgrove Steel is an American steel manufacturer that has kind of a chokehold on the global steel industry right now. They somehow have enough money to be buying up all of the steelworks they come across.
Well, just like you lot, I am also unaccustomed to the cold, but I do think I have a little bit of means to ease it up for all of us tonight. And Alice will take out their coffers, and I'd imagine as an emissary was given a fair amount.
Sizable, yeah, it is. It is quite a bit.
Mhm.
As you reach and you pull your purse out, one of the more femme presenting individuals kind of reaches out, puts their hands on your. Sir, you best not be pulling that out around here. We're not in a place where they'll cut your throat for it, but I'd keep that away for right now.
There's the slightest second of a smirk and then recomposure gained. I'm very capable of protecting myself. You need not worry about me. But I am here for something of a cultural exchange. And for that, I would like to share something with you. In my kingdom, we have something that we like to affectionately call the Aloha Spirit. If you see someone in need, you share with them. And I just so happen to have come across a few of your kingdom's currency, and I am currently not in need of it.
It's mighty kind of you, sir. The aloha spirit. I like the sound of that. Where are you from?
In the kingdom of Hawaii. Very, sorry. Oh, good.
Isn't that the one that Queen Dinah has, the friend of over the queen of over there? Our queen's friend of your queen's, correct? Or
Yes.
oh, then you're of course more than welcome at our fire, sir. And that's when one of them does offer you the bottle that is being passed around.
So, no, I'll pass, thank you. I've had quite enough for tonight, but I'll take my leave now if you don't mind, and I really do hope that the rest of your night goes swimmingly.
Well, the night just got a little bit warmer for all of us because of you. Thank you again, sir.
As I walk away, I repeat the name once more. McDermott. Duly noted.
So, keeping with Ellis, as you make your way back to the Levy House, to your chambers, and you lay down, I'm assuming on your home island, you probably had a specific watering hole you liked more than the rest. I have a question. Does Ellis have any siblings?
Nope, Alice is the only child of one of the Ali'inui.
Correct. Cool. I just wanted to confirm that real quick. So you are the dream. You are simply floating. You are home. You are warm in a way that you haven't really been ever since coming to this place. It's cold. It's gray. The people are sallow. there's a sense of greed here that you're not quite used to. Not that there aren't people back home who want more than they have, mind you, but that kind of deep seated hunger is a little bit different. It is a strange land you find us in.
Excuse me, who's speaking?
I'm assuming you're looking around. It takes you a second. Rippling out from the water, deep yellow, almost but not quite the color of canary feathers. Not quite. And he large enough that as it walks and circles around the tail at one end, laying arms crossed, setting its head down, one almost amber eye looking directly at you. Hello, Ellis.
Alice looks at one of the cufflinks that they have.
Uh huh.
Careful bow, making sure not to take eyes off of the being they see before them, but just enough to know that there's a level of respect there. By chance, are my eyes just deceiving me, or are you an Amakua?
As your father and his grandfather, and your grandfather's father, in their times and in the times when your line has needed a connection, a bridge, I am here to provide that service yet again.
For decades you've been asleep. Why now?
Your line has not needed me.
Well, there are so many questions to ask, and yet the only question I can bring myself to ask is, has the information I collected, is my sense of judgment enough for this? Am I truly the right person that they have sent here?
In my biased opinion, yes. Your job here was to see with eyes unclouded, to see and compile an understanding in your own right based upon the histories that you've learned, the stories you've grown on, your responsibility that you carry so heavy like a weighted collar. But there's also, he said, you see it say as it kind of shifts again, kind of gets comfortable circling around this watering hole that you were in. You know, the one of the claws dipping in, making sure that the water remains pure as pure water can be. Just you are young. Some would say you are too young, some say you don't have the experience. I think those who would say that have lived too much at that point and have forgotten that it is through the young that we determine what the correct path for the future is. Your judgment is as sound as anyone of your tenure can be. More so, even, I would argue. And while you are here collecting information, your information will be passed on and judged and assessed by the Li'i before being passed on to the Queen. And even then, it is going to be but a part of the whole. You can set expectations, but the final weight of this decision is not on your shoulders.
Very well. In that case, I will hold any more questions and will continue to observe. Mahalo nui e mo'o. Thank you very much.
Bows its head, and you kind of roll over, kind of settling into a deeper sleep in the real world again. Jax.
Yeah, still out drinking.
Still out drinking. You drink to the point. You drink to the point where you're just at a certain point you're just staring at whether it's a bar top or something. You just feel the weight of your ears.
Am I alone? Has a Dom gone home? Or is this another night?
It's the same night.
I think Adam tries to keep up as best as they can, inevitably cannot, and is wise enough to acknowledge, perhaps a little later than they should, that there is too much that they have to be present and aware for tomorrow, and will, at some point, excuse himself, while promising that this will not be the last time this is attempted.
If this happens, I'll give you. If this happens before a point that Adam leaves, then I'd speak partly to myself and partly to Adam. Although I think mostly to myself. And it's every time I'm called to serve, to bare my fists, it is always at the behest of someone else. Always because someone called for me. I'm sick of killing, but I'm too damn good at it. It takes another swig.
That seems quite the heavy weight.
Indeed.
There are
Indeed.
other things that you're good at, I'm sure. Sometimes. Sometimes we have to learn to be good at things we're bad at, if for no other reason than to spite the people around.
Done. The duties of a knight. The authority, power we wield in this position is not one to be taken lightly, which I know you understand. But I had hoped for you that it was not going to be so loaded. You could enjoy the glory that it holds and the responsibility that you bear without such a heavy thing on your shoulder. And dare I say, this might even be heavier than the last time. Choosing a king, queen, ruler.
There's a moment where Adam sort of sits and processes, looks at their drink, and then they go, "It is a lot, but perhaps a stressor for another day. I don't think I've ever stuck around long enough to see you drink yourself into being so dour before."
I've seen too many things to maintain a facade for too long.
Is that all it is? A facade.
It's a hope. I wish for what could have been if I had never answered Titania's call. Not that I regret it.
And what about the things that came with it? The stories, the experiences.
All of these things are gloriful. As young men, we wish to find respect, power, glory on the battlefield, to test our mettle, see if we can hold our own against things unimaginable and things that, well, those we brand as cowards would run from. But when you see so much time pass, and so many men you lead, women, soldiers, brothers, sisters, families, aunts and uncles, mothers and fathers, they lie, bleeding out on that field. The pain. Carlisle was depressed. Every pretended pain didn't exist. share and seek love. We all deal with it differently, but it's all pain in the end.
Adam will reach out and put a hand on your shoulder, like your bicep almost, on that upper arm bit, and go. Zadie Shmuel once told me that it is the job of those before to lay foundation so that every generation can lay foundation for the next to top that. I know, I understand that there has been pain and sacrifice and cost to all of this, and I know that it makes sense to not wish to step back into it. But perhaps you are lucky in that you get to help lay another level of foundation for the next. With us. Maybe with less pain. Maybe with less sacrifice. Maybe with less loss. I can't promise these things. I don't know. Cousin, the books I could write on what I don't know. But what I do know, I know because of you. I know because of them. I know because of the wisdom you impart. And what that means is that we have that chance now. No. We get to try and do better. And yes, perhaps there is more at stake. Certainly there is more at stake. But it isn't just the glory, is it? It's what it means to the people around us and the people around them who rely on stability and the idea of safety and security and kindness. We protect and we support each other because it's a mitzvah. We do it because it's right. So we do it. And I'm sure it will not be without sacrifice, but maybe less. Especially with you here to help us understand. But a lesson perhaps for you to take from your own laid foundation. What was the name Carlisle? Carmine?
Carlisle.
Perhaps only drunkenness or depression, but not both at once.
Sound like me. Same thing I told Carlisle when we
Did
first
it
got
work?
together. Memory's a little hazy. But something about that first night. Stood there, they stood up for some sort of weird golem. Smooth and I had a field day trying to figure out who made that thing, but made of wax or something. And they stood there, brave, against that foe. Sorry, this is a reminiscence of an old man. Tomorrow, I guess we get to picking well, I don't know if we're picking or if the thing is picking, but tomorrow we got duties, I guess. Or whenever Merlin calls upon us.
And we'll be ready. We'll do better.
King Jack LaFay. Crock of bullshit, I tell you that.
Holds up the empty glass.
And as we pull back from that, and the next morning hits, Coraline, you had dreams of fire, the calling of some sort of like a hunting bird of some sort. It wasn't an unrestful sleep, but you're not quite sure what it means. But with that, you are looking and you see that you have the start for your own fundraising project, a pet project of yours that you need to get going. And today is supposed to be the day where you start meeting with individuals to secure the means to be able to put your own plan into action.
Yes, she is very excited about this, and she will, quickly have Lydia help her get dressed, and start preparing to have her meetings.
One such meeting that was able to get set up was with the guest of the Calloway House, perhaps currently one of the richest men in England, despite not being English, one Charles Malgrove.
Okay, got it written down.
And this is, probably going to be the biggest opportunity you have to get a very large lump of money at a single place. You are prepared, you are ready, you walk out the door, you go to the carriage, and you go on your way. By sheer happenstance, you look over and see at a stop next to you a carriage from the House of Levy, and there, sitting next to you, a carriage apart, is Adam.
So she goes from having this perfect serenity, we're gonna get this done and it's gonna be amazing, and this is my most winning smile, we're ready to talk to people, to looking like she just stepped in something foul. And for one moment she just looks across and she's just like, and then she puts her eyes forward and starts actively pretending he's not there.
Carriage moves on. As you make your way to Calloway House. You are introduced in, and Charles Malgrove is about 6'2". He is well built. He is obviously well bred. He has a very dazzling smile. Ah, Miss Emberton, a pleasure.
Lord Malgrove, you look wonderful today.
Oh, please, oh, no lordship. Simply an abundance of resources and happy to help.
Uh, how was your morning?
Ah, very pleasant so far. Even better now that I can share with an individual such as yourself. So sit, Edwin Calloway, who is the son of the Callaways, has informed me that you have a and this is probably this kind of lost me. It is a orphanage, a school.
It is a school for the underprivileged.
Ah, a school for the underprivileged. We have things of a similar nature where I come back in the Americas, where I come from.
Oh, that's good to hear. Then I'm sure you're familiar with the extraordinarily good works they do.
I am. I am. One of my retinue, he points over, and you can see a very, very large man, bald, scar on the side of his face, just looking very imposing, almost as if someone painted a gargoyle to look like a regular human being, and then lopped off the horns and wings.
There's just absolutely no change. Just the most pleasant,
Yep.
unshaken, just, yep.
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead and roll me an etiquette to back that up real quick.
Remember, you got the juice.
That's it
That's the
too.
juice. Yeah, it is. Perfect.
This is what I do.
So what we're going to start doing is instead of just the rerolls, we're going to turn those juice directly into Queen's Favor.
Mhm.
So Queen's Favor is one of the most powerful currency you guys have. It lets you do rerolls. If you have enough of it, it gives you a flat bonus to things, a flat advantage on things. It will be when we get to the point of creating your Machina and your Colossus, how you get them to do stuff. So these are very, very important. Hold on to them, but don't hesitate to use them as you need to, because starting tonight, we will be awarding Queen's Favor at the end of the night as well. So,
You got the juice now.
you got the juice now. But yeah, with that, again, 100% very happy. You smile very pleasantly, return back to the conversation. Part of why is I'm sure that Coraline has a very, very solid danger sense. The sense when,
Yes.
yeah, this individual in the corner is messing with it. It's not that it's perceiving him as dangerous, it's not able to perceive him at all.
Huh.
The fact that he is such a non-entity makes it disconcerting.
Absolutely.
And you continue your talk, and you make your pitch for, here's what the good of it's going to be for. Malgrove nods. He nods his head. He nods his head. I think this is something I would like to help you with. Would you do me the honor of letting me call upon you for us to have a further meeting at a later date?
Absolutely. I can see nothing that would please me more.
Perfect. You see him kind of reach into a little black book. The amount of people who I'm meeting on a daily basis necessitates such things, unfortunately. Though you, Miss Coraline Miss Emberton, apologies, do not need any such remembrance. Unfortunately, my calendar does. He says as he jots down, snaps the book closed, and puts it back into an inner pocket somewhere. But no, I think I've taken up enough of your time today. I'm sure you have other individuals to meet throughout the day in regards to this. I wish you the best of luck. I think this is something that I'm very interested in supporting with you.
That would be lovely. And thank you so much for your time.
Oh,
I can see that you're a very busy man.
if only for it to be so. I will say, though, if it's not too bold of me, I do know that the next large-scale ball, as opposed to the many small ones, will be happening before then, is the Ostara ball. Would it be too bold of me to ask for you to save a dance for me on your card?
I certainly would do that for you.
Smiles very charmingly. Why, thank you. Go ahead and roll another etiquette for me, real quick.
That's a 2.
Two, perfect. Yeah, you. The act is almost perfect. It's almost perfect.
Oh, is her bullshit detector going off?
Her bullshit detector, it's the barest little bit, and you're not sure what it is, but it's enough that you clock there is something about this man. You don't know what part of him, but there's something about him that is just, it's too good.
Okay, yeah.
No one who looks this good with this much money, who's actually this charming, is actually as nice as he's acting.
Hmm.
It's there's too many positives and no negative.
Okay, and just she maintains the smile and she pulls off young lady flattered with the little blush and all that.
And as you kind of make your way back to your carriage.
I assume Daniel is with
Oh,
me.
Daniel is 100% your escort for all of this. And Daniel kind of sidles up next to you. He seems quite pleasant.
Yes, he did seem such, didn't he?
You see Daniel kind of play those words over. Daniel's Daniel's a smart individual. He's not quite as sharp as you are, though. He kind of uses you to kind of help him with that kind of stuff. He plays back what you said. Really?
Hmm. I don't know what.
We'll have
Something
to,
isn't quite right.
we'll have to keep an eye out then.
Yes.
And as the two of you genuinely make your way back down, let's go ahead and we'll switch over to Jax for your little vignette. Jax LaFay, you have received a call to order from the Royal Knights of the Crown.
Yeah. I will go in whatever attire is necessary.
The best one for this would probably be your military attire.
Oh, there we go.
And you kind of, as you're making your way in, as the only one who was unmorphed and out of your armament, unhensioned as it were.
I totally thought it was just going to be us.
But it also makes sense that the only one that would be caught in that way would be Jax LaFay.
Of course.
It's obvious. Yeah, it's still purple.
Correct. So you making your way in with your usual touches of purple for your accoutrement. You make your way over to the barracks house for the knights, where there is a curmudgeoned old man who used to be much more intimidating to you once upon an 80 years ago.
You still kicking?
They won't put me out to pasture yet. So let's just say hear about you being a knight, but not for the crown.
Take it up with Merlin. Wasn't a choice. It was what the Frith had asked for.
Take it up with Merlin. He says, okay.
I mean, that's who did it. I'm just saying. I'm just relaying information that I know.
Well, if it's not too much to ask, I could use your assistance on a separate matter. With you back in
Hmm?
the armament, as it were. Though it's not the armor that I'm used to seeing you in. There's
I do
a.
miss my breast being out, but that's another thing.
The fact that no one ever clipped you there is the
What can I say?
largest crock of shite I have ever seen.
My nipples could
Anyways,
cut steel. I'm just saying.
not an image, LaFay, that I want in my mind, thank you. But there is rumors abound, and I'm wanting to give you the heads up before the papers release. Someone, and I'm not sure who, slipped that your group wasn't the ordained Pix and is working separate from the crown. True as that might be, that was not the plan for the public to know. We don't have any control over how or what the reactions are going to be, and unfortunately for you, Jax, you're the only known individual. There's assumptions that the Red Ranger is Levy, the younger Levy, but there's no confirmation. You're the only confirmed one there, which means that there's a leak somewhere within the Knights.
Hmm.
I don't know who it is. I know that there wasn't directly from any of the 12 that went with us. The went with the prince. But that leads me to believe that there might be a leak elsewhere.
Another headache after another. I'll find him. Give me time and some
My worries,
room.
Jax. He kind of leans forward. My worries, Jax. So there might be another traitor. Another one working for a different crown. A different option for the Frithrit.
Huh. Why is this just? They need to get a new playbook. I swear to Tanya, they need to try different things rather than just replaying the same old thing over and over again. Like, come on, try something else.
We changed the oath, Drax. This shouldn't be possible. The new oath of loyalty they take when they enter upon their admittance into the academy. It shouldn't allow this. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whatever's going on, the magic is saying, do me a favor. I just want you to roll your die for me.
Alrighty. Let's do this one. Feeling good on this one. It's a 5.
Okay. As he hangs for a moment, your past together with this old, wrinkled up, at this point promoted to the head of the barracks, while not the head of the knighthood, the head of the barracks, and the head of the internal guard. He's just, you can tell he's trying to elude something important to you. But something, whether it's the oath, he doesn't trust the he doesn't trust the air around you guys. You can tell that it's not a distrust in you. But whatever it is he's trying to signal to you is not getting through.
Just a hand on the shoulder. Words sometimes get lost to us, old friend. No worries about it. Do we have a list of every night that was there last night?
I've checked them myself, but yes, he does. He hands you the list of 12 names. You've recognized some of these names. You've trained some of these names. You know for a fact how loyal almost everybody on this list is, and you've heard enough about the others to know that they would never reveal, willingly reveal information.
Mm. Do me a favor, send a messenger with this list to my office at the Levy residence.
You can see that done. We have an apprentice. I have some apprentices who need to get some cardio in, anyways. Jaggery! He calls out, and you see a younger individual come running over. You see him take the list, put into an envelope. Motions for the cadet to turn the cadet to turn around. Scratches out the address for the levy house, hands it to him. See this delivered. Off you go. And you see the youth go scampering away.
One of the things I want all of them on my training schedule. I'm putting together a little training regiment surprise for them for the next month. They're mine.
From those 12,
Yeah.
you can't. No maiming
I don't maim.
anymore.
Well, at least not too much.
No maiming. I need them functional for their other duties.
Listen, I'll just push them as hard as they can go, not as hard as I want to push them. Does that make sense?
If one of them, look at me, Jax. If even one of them comes back missing a limb, and I have words.
80 years and you're still so uptight. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like,
One missing
loosen
limb.
up a little bit. Listen up.
You see him kind of leaning on the cane. You can tell it's a little bit for show, but not as much for show as it used to be.
I promise, as my name, Jax of Fate, they will return to you unharmed by any of my doing, at least. Or whatever they get up to in their own time is up to them, but I won't do it.
Fair enough. Come on. What is Ellis up to?
Alice has continued going about the kingdom, meeting people of all different walks of life, asking about their life, their woes, how they feel about their lot in life, and just in general about the workings of this kingdom and how things are going.
So if something does catch your eye, kind of the stratification that you're finding is there is almost everybody has a positive view of the royal family in some way. The very poor are very protective of the idea and very adamant about, the faults that are going on belong in the laps of the lords, not in the royal family. There's a lot of mentions of the good works that the queen had initiated that were tampered with when she was no longer able to directly oversight. So a lot of which have just now, really, as her son and his wife have started to kind of really come into acting in power. Some of these things are being fixed, but it's taking time. Some people think it's taking too long. Some people think that the prince isn't a strong enough individual to carry on the good work that his mother did. There is, as you go, and it kind of leans back to what you saw before, you do see that conspiracy and hear that conspiracy and that fear of the princess is using the prince. Princess Fatima has plans and eyes for the throne. This is all a trap. It's not very common, but you do hear that. And then as you progress more towards a certain level of wealth, at the point where the individuals are probably at that point directly making agreements and contracts with the lords, that's when you're seeing kind of a change over to, the royal family is not allowing this to happen. If the lords had more powers, we'd be able to do this. And then as you shift into the lords, you can very quickly find that divide between that there are pro royalty and then there are pro nobility. There's a middle party on that as well, but the vast majority of the lords are either pro noble or pro royalty. And you're beginning to pick out that there seems to be symbols that both sides use to kind of identify who's on whose side at a glance.
Truth is complicated, as it was in your kingdom, as it is here, except many more arms to this, much more than you're used to.
Do me a favor and roll me a dueling, actually, because this is a little bit of a battle of wits thing.
Ooh, I got a 7.
So this is your second mark for the evening. Go ahead and roll for me. We're wanting a 2 or above.
A 4.
Perfect. So you don't pick up on. You pick up on a partial rumor that one of the groups, and you can't really pick out because of a lot of crosstalk and a lot of people speaking in symbols, but you can tell that the Paradox Court seems to be the Paradox and the King of the Never Was seems to be garnering support from one of these two groups. That's something to keep in mind. Adam Levy, what are you up to?
Well, if you were to ask most of the elders in my social circles, probably busy keeping someone warm. But in earnest, I think you will find me in one of the more busy, less well-to-do parts of the city. Secreted away as best as I can be. I think at present, handing out what is unfortunately meant to be the lunches for children at one of the um, local children's homes, for lack of a better term.
I think in the process of doing it, this is all happening, all of these vignettes are happening over time, mind you. I think that in your process of handing out food, which you don't notice until it's too late. Actually, do me a favor
Yeah.
and roll me an etiquette real quick.
Oh yeah, we're able to do those.
Technically.
That's a 3.
Perfect. So yeah, you are able to hear before you see Coraline Emberton's voice, as she seems to be leading a group of will-to-do individuals in an attempt to garner more resources to help facilitate further construction in the school. You're not quite sure how it happened until you look outside and you see Emberton House on the side of the building. You're not quite sure how you missed that. How could you? And
I've clearly been very busy and potentially hungover.
and just in time as Coraline walks in, much too late for you to hide, I think we're going to call this episode right as Coraline, you turn to go and say, look at all the feeding we're doing to these children, and there, right in front of you, is a Dom.
Fantastic.
And I think that's where we're going to call it for the night.
Amazing. Great. We love it.
So, all right, let's go ahead and go around the horn again one more time. We are going to start with the Eponymous X Strill. Go ahead, my friend.
Hello, that is I. I am Extel, aka at Extra the King, on the socials. That's who I am. I'm the social media manager here at Tales from the Table Studios, and you can catch me posting on our socials, which I'm trying to post more on. So keep me humble and check it out. If you follow us, I'll be more inclined to. I'm not soliciting at all. I promise.
No, never. What can they say? What can they see you in coming up?
So this Sunday, you can catch me here at 10 a.m. PDT is what it is. But we'll just say Pacific time, and 1 p.m. Eastern for Sundered Skies, a Fabula Ultima game that I am running, that Lion is at, and also the other GM for the other side of this game, Cash, is also sitting at the table there. So you can check us out with Q and Taylor, where we're doing some fun Sundered Fabula Ultima Sky stuff. I don't know why I sandwiched it all together, but there we are.
Soup for the Soup King.
And I suggest tuning in tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Sunday, because it's going to be, without giving too many spoilers for Lion, it's going to be a pretty heavy one. But tune in. Other than that, start playing on there. I got vampire games up there, so check that out. And just if anything else, just follow me, because there's a lot of stuff I do that I can't talk about yet. So, you'll figure it out.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and go over to Kay.
Hi, I'm Kay. This was a lot of fun. You can't find me anywhere. I don't exist.
Perfect.
That doesn't at all throw me into an existential crisis in any
way
whatsoever.
Our favorite delusion. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Kem.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Kemma. You can find me and my works at Apochromatic Unlimited, where I work as not only one of the art team, as the character and creature creator for the art team, but as of recent, now one of the stream leads there at Apochromatic Unlimited. I've enjoyed being a ranger. I always love getting to be a ranger. You can find me at Fave Them Chem, where I will hopefully continue being a ranger everywhere.
Perfect. And you can find me everywhere as hello everyone, as again I am TR Grimm. I was the Master of Ceremonies and Tale Singer for these wonderful people today. You can find me everywhere on the internet at empathic_Grimm. Keep an eye out. I'm finishing off some art assets, and then you will be able to find on my YouTube channel the Wild Seas game that I have been recording for a little bit, and that'll be a lot of fun. And always remember to tell your tales. Take us out, Lion.
So before I do all the stuff that I'm gonna do, I do want to real quick point at you, Kemma, and say, have you forgotten a thing? Because you have a thing tomorrow, right?
You do have a thing tomorrow.
I didn't want to plug I'm a guest here.
Plug hard.
So,
plug aggressively. Anything you're doing, these people should know about 100% of the time.
Well, if you enjoyed me being a very cautious and careful Yellow Ranger here, go ahead and join me in about 8 hours' time as I become a unhinged and sleep-deprived Pink Ranger at Entropy Emporium as they do a Saturday morning's worth all day of Super Sentai and Power Rangers related APs.
Hell yeah. Yes, always plug your stuff. Part of you being here is so more people can find out all the cool stuff you're doing, and we love that.
Thank you.
Also, for sure, go check that out. It's going to be great. It's a whole day of Power Rangers stuff, and how can you say no to that, right? And it's to support a great cause. How could you want to miss that too? Come on. So with that said, because I get yelled at if I don't do it, hey, y'all, it's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I use they, he pronouns, and I am the studio director for Tales from the Table Studios right here on Tales from the Table Studios. You can find me everywhere online at it's Drake Lionheart, except for the garbage fire, where it's still the Lion Knight 42, but the only reason that exists is for charity events. Please don't go to Twitter. It's Nazi land. Don't do it. It's not worth it. But everywhere else at It's Drake Lionheart. I post musings, thoughts, ideas on things that I have upcoming. It's the best way to get in contact with me outside of our Discord server, which is an absolutely phenomenal community that has grown since we began Tales from the Table Studios 3 years ago somehow. But it's a phenomenal community of creators, storytellers, players, actors, voice actors, and just wonderful human beings who all can, love to hang out and chat about all kinds of stuff. We have game nights, we have movie nights. We're trying to schedule more of those because it's a great time. We also are working on getting more community games off the ground, so if you're looking for groups, it's a great place to go to find other players or a GM who might be looking for people to sit at their table. The link is down in our About section. You can also find it on our socials, I believe, everywhere. So go do that. It's great. As for me, you can find me here for this. You'll also find me on Sunday for our Sundered Skies game, like X said. A wonderful story of joyful, rage-filled, passionate rebellion. But I don't want to give anything away. Come watch it. It's amazing. It's got one of the greatest tail slingers of all time. That's X. So you should check it out. That's recorded and on the internet now. Just in case there was any doubt at how much I mean it when I say it to you. After that,
it's going to be there forever.
After that, you won't see me again for a while, but you'll be able to talk to me and hang out and chat, because Tuesday we'll be back with another episode of Sentai and Sensibility as the other table shows up for all kinds of stuff, including our favorite drunken, depressed Knight, who's gotten a couple of shout-outs this week. You're not going to want to miss it. It has been an absolutely wonderful time. Everyone at that table is incredible. Everyone at this table is also incredible. So you're not going to want to miss that. I'll be hanging out in chat. I almost mentioned something I'm not allowed to talk about yet. But that's okay. We'll get there eventually. And I think that rounds out, unless I'm wrong, I think that rounds out our month for this month. Right? Yeah. But we'll have a new calendar.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a new calendar out soon for September, so you can be aware of what else we've got coming up. I don't understand how August is almost over. But, it's fine. It do be like that sometimes.
Yesterday was the second. It feels like yesterday was the second.
I know. But here we are. The horrors persist, and so do we. Time means nothing anymore. It's fine. We are going to disappear in a minute, but we're going to go raid Smoking Glue Guns, who are playing Veil of Athium. I think I'm pronouncing that right, and if not, then that's very unfortunate. But I'm doing my best. Which I believe is a Dungeons & Dragons game, but it's got some absolutely phenomenal people involved, so we're going to go head over there. But we're going to disappear here first. Don't leave. Join us for that, because they're great, and you're gonna love it. But until next time, remember, folks, eat enough food, drink enough water, take care of yourself, love yourself, do the things you gotta do. Remember to lean on people when you can, and to let those around you lean on you when you are able. Remember to drink your water, even if it's actually Diet Coke in disguise, and always remember to tell your tales. See you soon.